भैया शुरू करा दीजिए अब।
ठीक ठीक। Thank you very much and good afternoon to all of you. Uh, Today we will have some discussion on the in the area of legal feminism. Uh, if we use the term feminism, the first and foremost question arises from where this term has come up. This term, this term in fact is French in origin, that is femina, which means woman-like or womanly. Unfortunately, when the word was used for the first time, it was in the area of medical science, and word femina was used with reference to those male who developed feature in their body which could be compared with that of a woman. So, man having woman-like qualities, they were labeled as femina in France when the meaning was given to it. And unfortunately, subsequently, when feminism is used and word femina is used with reference to a woman, then woman who is having the characteristics or features of man, or that is called virilization of woman, that is known as femina or feminism, so far as French word is concerned. The, the truth lies nowhere. The truth is that it is a method of study. It is an objective method of study. It is an epistemology. It is philosophy, with reference to which we have to study what is the position of woman in the area of law if it is viewed from the angle of a woman. So, it is a gynocentric approach to understand the nature of law, whether it is criminal law or constitutional law or any other law, to be viewed from the angle of woman. And what has been the reason for the demand of studying law, particularly law, from the angle of a woman? They are of the view that law does not treat them fairly, and woman is always in disadvantageous position despite having law on that point. So, to understand this feminism, we have to start with the observation made by Lloyd that feminism is a big house in which many rooms are present, and all the rooms are connected with each other and emerging at one central point. So, central point for the woman is that study in any branch of knowledge from the woman perspective is feminism. It may be in the area of politics, political science, it may be in the area of economics, science, law, and other branches of humanities. So the first movement which started, that was with Seneca Fall Convention, where the demand arose that woman and man, they are they are of the same genus and species. They are Homo sapiens. And man or woman both have autonomy over their body and mind. And therefore, there should be equality between sexes. In India also, by 1977, there was a report towards equality, which argued for equal treatment of women with that of man. So whatever rights are given to women, to man, that should be extended to women as well. This happens to be Seneca Fall Convention happens to be the starting point of legal feminism. So classical school, which is one of the rooms according to Lloyd of feminism, that says that women are in disadvantageous position. Therefore, all the rights should be given to them at par with that of the man. And the ground was same, that autonomy over body and mind, both exercise, man or woman, and therefore there should not be any kind of discrimination between the two. So when we talk it with reference to India, when the constitution comes in 1950, the question was whether there should be equality clause or there should be difference clause. Article 14 says that man and every person is equal before law and is entitled for equal protection of law. So here it suggests that man and woman have not been discriminated. And the issue, particularly with reference to marriage, and if we take the instance from British system, then there was a time when it was regarded as contractual agreement between man and woman. So far as marriage is concerned, it was a contract. But in that contract, position of woman was not at par with that of the man. When civil marriage comes in England, at that point of time, they got some right to equality so far as man and woman position is concerned. So classical school of feminism, it is arguing that in every respect, in all walk of life, man and woman they should be equal. So be it in the area of what you call politics, in the area of legal rights, man and woman they should not be discriminated. Uh, on this point, the subsequent persons they have disagreement. Those who subscribe to the classical view that man and woman they are equal, that has been subject to criticism. Subject to criticism on the ground that this argument of classicals that man and woman they are the same and there should not be discrimination, it requires the element of sameness. 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 Man and woman can never be same. And on the principle of sameness, which attempt has been made by the principle of equal distribution given by John Rawls, that if resources, services available with the man is distributed on the principle of equality, on the ground of sameness, then justice will be done. If there is 100 items and it is distributed without discrimination between man and woman, justice is done. Now, this approach has been criticized, and this on the ground that it is still disadvantageous to women. Only by distribution of these resources, equality cannot be attained. Moreover, justice cannot be done to them. Reason is there are two different ethics: ethics for man and ethics for woman. Ethics for man is based on reason, and ethics for woman is based on care and protection. So, woman, the ethics which is prevalent for woman is that she will be caring, and woman and ethics for man that he is a reasonable man, he is having the sense of right and justice, and therefore he is altogether having different ethics. So, if the ethics are different, similar this equality between sexes will not result into the desired goal. Women cannot be liberated. Therefore, it is to be done away with. I will come to the solution bit later. Uh, First thing is that it has not been accepted by the subsequent feminist thinkers that man and woman they can never be equal. There cannot be an element of sameness, and therefore the very foundation of the argument that suffers from lacuna. But if you go by the United Nations Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women of 1979, you will find that that convention on women is based on the principle which are argued by the classicals, that is sameness. Man and woman they are same, there is equality between sexes, and whatever rights are otherwise available to men, that should be made available to women also. Therefore, she has the right to property, right to cast vote, right to contest election, so on and so forth, on the principle of equality. Uh, the other approach, which is in contradiction to classicals, they say that classical are arguing for equality, but equality cannot be attained unless and until there is economic certainty to the woman, unless and until there is economic empowerment of the woman. Man very subtly, yes, you B T L Y, in very in very thin and microscopic manner, has regarded his work as profitable to the society, and the work which the woman does, that is not included. So if you see that woman is working for 16 to 17 hours, but the work she is doing, that is not kept for the purpose of uh, calculation of GDP. But whatever man is doing, that is used for the purpose of calculation of GDP. So their argument is that woman is economically weak, and unless and until she is made economically strong, the attainment of equality between sexes is not possible. So production has been that element which is in the control of man, and that is taken into consideration while the contribution of man to the society is calculated. But when we come to the aspect of reproduction, over which the woman has some priority or preference, or that is only in her control, then in that case, reproduction is not taken into consideration while calculating GDP and GNP. Therefore, they are saying that reproduction should also be treated as an industry, that should also be considered as an element or component of calculation of GDP and GNP. Unless and until it happens, unless and until women also get the economic empowerment, the equality doctrine can never be achieved. So they are looking from the angle of Marx that it is the economy that is responsible for all other superstructures. Infrastructure is basically economy, and all other structures which are standing on that economy, they are superstructures, and superstructure can be changed by tinkering without affecting the foundation. And if the foundation remains unaltered, if it remains unchanged, then the tinkering on this in the superstructure, that will not serve the purpose. Therefore, the economic base of the woman should be made stronger. That is the approach of the socialist feminism, or socialist feminist. Uh, their concentration is from the economic point of view. So, what work was the keyword for Marx and post-Marx thinkers. Sex and work, these two have been the central feature of socialist feminism, and they indicate that distribution of work, that in public domain man will be there, and female will be in private domain. That is not. Let the woman also come in public domain, and that will be possible when she is getting an opportunity to render her services to the society. So her house is not her place. Rather, she is equally important for the country, for the society as well, which she can contribute if she comes out of home. Public and private dichotomy, or public and private difference, that should be done away with. Man and woman both may contribute toward the economy, strengthening of economy. That was their argument. The other school or way of thinking is that the equality between man and woman, the, the proper treatment of man and woman cannot be achieved because they are diametrically opposed to each other. How they are diametrically opposed? They say that if the woman could not get an independent word for her, rather she is dependent on man even for her existence, then the equality cannot be expected in such society. In other words, if I give this statement to an expression, that woman is WO plus MAN, man, and there is man with reference to female, male opposite to female. So man with womb is woman, and man is free from that womb. So long as the woman is having that womb attached with her body, she can never become man. Therefore, the womb which is differentiating woman, that should be done away with. So surgically, womb should be removed, and then only woman will become man. Otherwise, not, because the interest of man and woman, they are diagonally in antagonism against each other, and that is not possible. So what they are saying is that there should be a cultural change, that woman should refuse, stop to procreate children, to give birth to child, by removing the reproductive system from her body, and then only she will become man. Otherwise, it is impossible. Uh, the impact of this kind of theory may be seen that when women started uh, picking up certain behaviors which were uh, equal, which were available otherwise to man in a patriarchal society or male dominating society, like putting on jeans, t-shirt, smoking in public, having liquor, all these things which were hitherto in practice by the male only, that was adopted by the woman, in claim that woman can be equal to that of man if she picks up the behavior of man, then only. Otherwise, it is difficult. The result was that they tangentially argued for lesbianism, homosexuality, and the result was that if we accept this, the result was that there will be end of human civilization. If the woman refuses to procreate a child, then the human race will come to an end. So therefore, this theory could not be accepted by all the women, by the society. Reason was that ultimately man wants the perpetuation of his progeny, which this theory does not accept. Yes. Which this theory does not accept. Just हेलो, हाँ राघव, 1:30 बजे निकलेंगे. ठीक. Therefore, this theory could not get appreciation from other corners. Other theory, which and this theory is known as radical feminism, because of its approach that it is denying the traditional role of man and woman. But all these three, they are indicating that this society is masculine, law is masculine, and there is patriarchal system. What the man is saying, who is in domination, that is to be accepted. And if we really want that man and woman should get equal treatment in the society, then there is a need to break this patriarchy, to have a dent in that patriarchy. ये जो पितृसत्तात्मक व्यवस्था है, इस पर प्रहार करने की आवश्यकता है। और जब तक पितृसत्तात्मक व्यवस्था नहीं टूटती है, तब तक स्त्रियों को बराबरी का दर्जा प्राप्त नहीं हो पाएगा। ये तीनों अप्रोच ये इस चीज को इंडिकेट करते हैं। Law is masculine. Law is made from the angle of man. Woman standpoint of view, women experience has not been incorporated in law, and therefore law is lopsided. And the use of certain expressions in law that shows that woman has not been taken care of by the lawmakers. For example, every now and then we use the word reasonable man. Their contention is that law has not taken into consideration reasonable woman, as if women cannot be reasonable. That is their point of view. Now, after this, it was also was that entire world, particularly the women, they joined hand to hand and made a call that women of entire world one reason of their subordination, subjugation and exploitation. Therefore, they should be united. विश्व की सभी महिलाएं, क्योंकि हमारा जो ग्रीवांस है, हमारी जो शिकायत है, वह पितृसत्तात्मक व्यवस्था से है और ये पूरे विश्व में पाया जाता है। In the meantime, this development started from Seneca Fall Convention and it came to suppose 1980. By start of 80, and as I told you that a new trend in thought process started, that was of postmodernity. Now, postmodernity said that the classic, be it classical school or radical school or socialist school of feminism, all are based on the principle as if the cause of woman, the exploitation, suppression, objugation of women is because of one single factor, as if the man is the only enemy who is standing on the other pole. It is not the truth. In other words, if I use the term which was used earlier, that feminism, be it classical, socialist, or radical, they are using the term of universality, equality, and rationality. And all these terms, three terms, they are the concept of modernity. Now, against this, a postmodern approach in feminism also started. And that postmodern approach is of the opinion, of the view, that cause of exploitation, subjugation of women throughout the globe is not the same. Rather, it varies. And if the cause of exploitation is different, so question of uniting all women, that does not arise. Now, here you will find that it is not the equality, rather it is difference. Women of Africa, her grievance, her understanding about the situation is different from that of Europe, from that of America, from that of Australia. Similarly, the problem of a Negro woman in America is different from the woman who happens to be white middle class woman of USA. The problem of a Negro woman may not be with that of women. A Negro woman who is serving as maid servant, her problem is not against the master of that family who is paying. Her problem is against that white middle class woman in whose house she is serving. जिस महिला के घर में वो कार्य कर रही है, उस महिला के पति से या उस घर में रहने वाले जितने भी पुरुष सदस्य हैं, उनसे उसको कोई तकलीफ नहीं है। तकलीफ उनको उस मालकिन से है जो उनसे काम कराती है और उसका एक्सप्लॉइटेशन और उसका दोहन करती है, ऑप्रेस करती है, दमन करती है। तो ऐसी स्थिति में महिलाओं की दुश्मन महिलाएं भी हो सकती हैं। यह पोस्ट मॉडर्न अप्रोच का परिणाम निकला। यह मान के चलना कि ऑलवेज देयर इज बैड रिलेशन बिटवीन मैन एंड वुमेन, man is the cause of oppression, subjugation, and exploitation, that does not hold good. Rather, we find that the cause of exploitation may be in the woman, other woman itself. So there is no equality, there is no universality on this. If I take example from India, if you analyze any case on issue relating to dowry, maybe under section 304B of the Indian Penal Code, which talks about dowry death, you will find that if 10 accused are involved in that process, out of 10, 6 to 7 would be women. It means that an evil like dowry that is perpetuated, but that is the subject matter of oppression, subjugation, and exploitation of that woman, and that is done by the woman of that particular family. So how can we say that the real enemy of woman happens to be man? It is not the case. So postmodern thinkers like Mary Jo Frug, Mary, Mary Jo, Joe, Jo Frug, she suggests that the assumption that the any common enemy of woman is man, that does not hold good. Somewhere it may be man, somewhere it may be woman, somewhere it may be the person who is in superior position. Suppose there is a CEO and the lady happens to be the CEO. All other workers are women workers. It is it is possible that the women workers may have the problem with the CEO, but not with her husband of CEO. So because of this relationship, so woman and woman can also be having bad relations. Therefore, she says that the society is to be understood from three angles, and position of woman is to be analyzed from three angles. That woman is permitted and perpetuated under system of terrorization. The body of woman is put to terror. Number one, why she is put to terror, under what circumstances she is put terror, that is to be inquired into. Then second thing is that system perpetuates that woman body is for reproduction. Her body is maternalized. And third is that system perpetuates sexualization of woman. When we see a woman, she is not perceived like ordinary human being, rather she is perceived as an object of sex. So Mary Jo Frug, she is arguing that feminism is talking about the maternalization of women, sexualization of women, and terrorization of women. The woman is put under terror, maybe terror of the family members who are elder to her, mother-in-law, like that, sister-in-law, sexualization of body, that she is an object, she is not a subject. She can be had, but she cannot have anything. And putting the person in the category of maternalization. That's as if she is only there in the family for procreation of children, nothing beyond that. So unless and until this system, which is prevalent, is thoroughly analyzed, we cannot remove the disparity which is existing in the society. Now, there may be a group of persons, or you can say society, where having a boy or male child may be appreciated, and having a girl child may be viewed with contempt and hatred. So, if the woman has given birth to all the girl children, then that woman will be subjected to subjugation, oppression, and exploitation. But in case she has given birth to a male child, she may be appreciated. So why it is so? Why woman who has given birth to another woman, she should be ridiculed? She should be jilted by other members of the family. Point here is that in most of the cases, this jilting comes from another woman, not from the man. And she is supposed to give birth to children, and that too preferably the male one. If she has given birth to female children only, then she will be subjected to all kind of jilting and scolding. उसके विरुद्ध सभी प्रकार का जो तिरस्कार का भाव है वो दिखाई पड़ने लगता है. Or when the woman could not give birth to any child, then also she will be subjected to various kinds of humiliation in the family as well as in the society, as if woman is there only for begetting a child. जैसे कि वो केवल बच्चे उत्पन्न करने के लिए वो महिला है, उसके अलावा और कोई काम नहीं है. ये दोष जो है, जब तक कि समाज में रहेगा तब तक महिलाओं का उत्थान नहीं हो सकता. Mary Jo Frug is arguing that the very trend in the society which is perpetuating, which is continuing, that woman is for maternalization, for begetting a child, that is to be revisited, and society should be changed on that. Sapiens, despite the fact that she has not given birth to a child. Then sexualization. Unless and until the system of perpetuating hello, hello,
हेलो
hello. Am
सर,
I
आवाज
audible?
आपकी चली गई थी
नहीं आ रही है
बीच
ना?
बीच. अब आ
सर अब
रही
आ
है सर,
रही है.
पहले चली गई थी बिल्कुल जीरो.
हाँ, बीच में मुझे लगा कि शायद आवाज चली गई है. So the point which I was talking, as
हेलो
she were an
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
इन्होंने कहा है
Pandey, sir. Pandey, sir. Am I audible? जैसे अखिलेंद्र सर आएंगे वैसे सब लोग अपना कैमरा ऑन दोबारा करेंगे. इसके तुरंत बाद सभी लोग अपना कैमरा ऑन दोबारा करेंगे. जैसे अखिलेंद्र सर आएंगे, आई विल टेक अटेंडेंस अगेन.
जाली का नाम सेवर है.
Hello.
जी सर,
Hello.
जी सर,
Yes.
now you are audible sir.
Okay. So the concept that woman is for procreating the child, otherwise she has no use and utility in the society, that is to be done away with. And this very concept existing in the society that woman body is for materialization, nothing else should be expected from him, that is bad, and it is to be thoroughly searched. What is the reason behind it? Then only the system will improve. Otherwise, simply by blaming someone, the other party, purpose of feminism is not going to be achieved. Second one, that she is not to be viewed, woman is not to be viewed as a sexual object. Rather, she is a subject. She is a, she is autonomous in her body and mind. She has the full decision, full right to take decision in respect of her body, in respect of her working, unless and until this element of thought process, which puts the woman as a object of sex, is done away with, the legal society is not possible. And so far as the terrorization of body is concerned, terrorization of human body is concerned, she regards that this is the worst part for the woman. If I connect this part, that woman is put under terrorization by the system, example may be had that if a woman comes out to perform his job, and suppose she is working in a company, about 10 to 6 o'clock. Now, because there is a sense of insecurity, therefore she will not come out. And she may even decide to forego her job, to drop the job, she may resign, or she reach to the workplace bit early by 6 o'clock. So if the woman is under such kind of fear and apprehension, then she cannot contribute to the society, and she cannot get her due from the society. And it is unfortunately perpetuating and permitted by the system. Uh, if the woman does not come out after sunset and she is compelled to remain inside the house, then 50% of the population, the strength is not being properly utilized, and the economic condition of that country can be very well visualized. हेलो, हाँ संजय जी, हाँ 2 बजे के आसपास डिपार्टमेंट में आइए, बात होगी, ठीक है? So she is saying that this perpetuation and permission by the system, by the social system, by the legal system, uh, if it is continuing, then the due which is due to the woman cannot be achieved and obtained. Now the question is that if we are interested in giving justice to the woman through the instrument of law, by we have uh, tried to protect the woman, we have tried to give equal share, so whether it is going to do justice or not. So classicals, as I told you, that classicals, they are arguing for equality, and on the principle of equality, many laws we have in our system. For example, there was a time when women were deprived of certain services, maybe maybe military services, maybe police services, maybe what we call pilots, and even as air hostess, they were not permitted to continue the service in air if they were married and procreated a child. If it was so, then their services were grounded. They could be ground personnel, but not in flight. This kind of disparity was there. And before that, if the work was done by a man and he was entitled to have 5 rupees per day as wage, the woman was entitled to receive only 2 rupees and 50 paisa, just half of the what man was getting. So when in India in 1976 equal remuneration came, that indicated that work done by man and woman for the same duration, that will give or entitle them for equal remuneration as well, equal wages as well. So now after 1976, law does not permit that woman will be having half of the wages in comparison to man for the same work for the same duration. Now law is not permitting to designate the woman in services. She is joining the military services and police services as well. Many women are there in civil and military services. Now, what they are suggesting is that this equality presupposes that woman should become man, then only it will be possible. But woman is not man, man is not a woman. So while maintaining the distinction between man and woman, we can do justice to women if we could identify certain facets if we could identify certain facets of their operation. And Iris Marion Young, I-R-I-S, Iris Marion, M-A-R-I-O-N, Marion Young, W-Y-O-U-N-G, Young. She argues that there are 5 facets of operation which are prevalent in the society, responsible for keeping the woman in disadvantageous position. कुल 5 ऐसे वो कारण है जिसके कारण महिलाओं की जो स्थिति है वह सुधरी नहीं है, उसमें सुधार नहीं हो पाया. What are they? So first thing is that there is an element of exploitation. Now this term exploitation is a term in economic sense, that women may get equality. Yes, you may become what you call Gram Pradhan, but the decision will be taken by the husband of that woman. Or if the woman is serving, husband is serving, is in service, woman is also in service. Equality has been given, but we have to see whether really she has control over her purse or not. It is found that she is working. Whatever she is getting, she is not permitted to spend according to her wish and volition. तो कार्य तो वो करती है, लेकिन उस कंट्रोल उसके पर उसके मेल मेंबर्स का होता है. So unless and until we remove the exploitation, the position of women is not going to change. Or when a child, when a woman is in family way, then burden is of that of the woman, and no male member takes burden or share burden so far as that particular phase is concerned. So unless and until the exploitation is removed from the society, so far as the economic exploitation is concerned, then condition of women cannot be improved. Then second one is marginalization, according to Young. The issues which are very close to women, they are ridiculed and kept aside. But from women's standpoint of view, very pertinent, very genuine, and relevant. Unless and until that thing is also brought in center stage, the condition of women is not going to be marginalized, not going to be improved. Marginalization is another facet. Now, here, if we take the definition of sexual assault under Indian Penal Code, particularly rape under Indian Penal Code, then if there is a woman and she gives consent for physical relationship under promise of marriage, but subsequently the boy does not agree to marry, maybe for certain reason, then the relationship which was established between that woman and man, that is not treated as an offense. The reason is that it was consensual. But this process, that her issue is not addressed properly by law, that may be a matter of concern for her, that the person maintained physical relationship, but later on he refused to marry, and if she wants to prosecute, then it is not covered under the Indian Penal Code, or for that matter under any criminal law. So her issue has been marginalized. Then the third element is that powerlessness is also one of the important component of operation. It has been observed that women having the power, she is not subjected to she is not subjected to any kind of assault. She is not subjected to any kind of exploitation. But the woman who is not having power, then oppression and subjugation in different form occurs against her. Take simple example of a woman chief executive officer, CEO. She is not exploited by her subordinate male members because she is having power over them. But if a woman is there, she is not having such power, then she may be subjected to oppression, subjugation. So, what is being said that powerlessness on the part of the woman is also one of the important components. So, how this power can be obtained? This power can be obtained by political process. If she starts participating in the political process, then political power will vest in her, or when she becomes economically stronger, then she may be in position to repel any kind of such oppression and subjugation. Then there is an element of cultural imperialism. By the term cultural imperialism, Young suggests indicates that the definition is given by a particular class which form the dominant class. So meaning of a particular word is according to the understanding of the dominant class. In this system, law is made by man, and what meaning is given to that word, that is according to the man's perception. So if you see the traditional, I am again taking the help of offense of rape. If you go by the traditional definition, rape was considered to be an offense only when it was of penile nature. But now the definition has been modified. It may be of various kinds. So when the meaning was given to it at one point of time, in that meaning, the male perception was included, or that was reflecting only the male perception, not that of the female one. And therefore, this what you call process of cultural imperialism, that definition should be in such a way that not only the male standpoint of view, male perception about particular situation be taken into account, but female situation should also be included in that. And fifth, according to Young, is that if we see that violence is the most growing form against the woman. Why this violence? Violence may be in the family, in the homestead, in that is in domestic relations. Violence may be outside that domestic relationship. Now, this violence, if it is there, then the society cannot prosper, develop, and the rights of the woman cannot be made available. So, women should be having such kind of liberty, free from fear of any kind of violence. That is to be ensured to the woman. Then only justice will be done to a woman. Otherwise, simply by saying that if she gets equal share or equal rights according to classicals by becoming a man, that is not going to improve the condition. So, point here is that in the political process, in the legal world, the woman is not having the sufficient representation. Therefore, in the lawmaking process, they have been eliminated. Number one. In the political process, she is not getting equal participation, and therefore she is not in position to make such a law in which the standpoint of view of a woman could be considered. That is not there. जब महिला किसी विधायन में भागीदारी करती है, तो उस पर्टिकुलर स्थिति के लिए, शब्द के लिए उसका क्या अर्थ होना चाहिए, उसको वह अवसर प्राप्त होता है. और जब तक कि वो अवसर प्राप्त नहीं होगा, तो जो भी डोमिनेंट पोजीशन में है, उनकी जो समझ और उनका जो अर्थान्वयन है, जो अर्थ वो देंगे शब्द के लिए, वही वहां पर लागू होता है. तो सही संदर्भों में अगर महिला को न्याय दिलाना है, तो केवल और केवल इक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से काम नहीं होगा, सेमनेस से काम नहीं होगा कि हमने थ्योरेटिकली कह दिया कि ऑल द राइट्स अदरवाइज अवेलेबल टू मैन shall also be available to women. That will not serve the purpose. Now, take a concrete situation that if there is a married woman, now she wants to terminate her pregnancy. To her, at this stage, she does not want to bear a child. Now the question is, can she decide to terminate the pregnancy in our system? If you go by Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, which permits the termination of pregnancy, then you will find that woman on her own cannot take a decision. Or where the woman is unmarried, and because of sexual assault, because of some incident against her, she is in family way and wants to terminate the fetus. She cannot take her own decision. The decision is to be taken by the parents. Now, if we compare the fetus with that of an abscess, that if there is an abscess on the body or any part of the body, then that abscess can be drained without having consent of any other person. So, fetus is just like a growth which is developing inside the body. And if the woman wants that that growth should be done away with, that should not be permitted to grow further, she cannot take decision. What does it mean? It means that your system is perpetuating, is arguing for maternalization of the woman body. That is not the appropriate thing. Second thing is that if the woman
वॉइस सर ऑडिबल नहीं है. वॉइस सर ऑडिबल.
okay, I think that at my end there is no problem. Anyway, now is it okay? Hello, hello, hello.
ऑडिबल है सर.
नहीं, मुझे तो लग रहा है कि हमारे एंड पर तो कोई नहीं है. शायद हो सकता है कि आपके एंड पर कुछ इंटरनेट की प्रॉब्लम हो. Anyway, so this illustrates that women cannot take decision, and classical school classical school is claiming that woman has got autonomy over her body and mind. She may think, she may take decision, but in fact, in reality, the society and the law does not permit him to do so. Another issue is that if she is interested in joining certain jobs, for example, she takes interest in mining services. Then there was a time few years back when the woman was not permitted to join mining as a subject for her study at BTech and MTech level. At BTech level. Now the point is that the society was thinking that going of a woman in the mine is not in her interest. Now see, the society is thinking, or the man is thinking, that her going deep inside the mine is not for her security. Woman is thinking otherwise, that she can have her career in that branch, but she is not permitted to take that. The educational system did not permit her. I think it was permitted only in 2007 when she could opt mining as a discipline of study in engineering. You must be knowing that in police services there was a clause that women will not be appointed, and that clause was removed way back in 1970. So this kind of restriction was there in law. At one point of time, even in France, the women were not permitted to cast their vote. They were not permitted to participate in the political process. It means that it is not only a problem in India, so far as women is concerned, but it has been throughout the globe. Now the question is that should a man and woman be viewed from a perspective of binary? हम लोग का जो ट्रेनिंग है वह ऐसा है कि एज इफ की पुरुष और महिला अलग अलग है. अगर पुरुष है तो उसका अपोजिट या उसका विलोम क्या होगा? महिला होगी. ये जो बाइनरी सिस्टम है, दैट बाइनरी इज टू बी ब्रोकन. नो, वुमेन इज एज लाइक एज ए मैन, मैन इज एज लाइक एज ए वुमन. द कॉन्सेप्ट of binary that requires to be reconsidered by the individual, by the society, and by legal process. One incident happened that when an unmarried girl, she applied for maternity leave. Then the employer refused to grant on the ground that as she was not married to anyone, she was not having marital status, therefore she will not be given this maternity leave. Now, what was the insistence? The insistence was that as if the person will be entitled to that relief or benefit only when she is married to someone. Unwed mother were not permitted to avail. The fact was that because of her extraordinary condition of having pregnancy, she was asking for benefit, maternity benefit, but that was not given. Subsequently, it was modified and incorporated that even an unwed who is not married or who has not disclosed her marriage, she should also be given the maternity benefit. So condition of maternity benefit is not that she should be married. Even this, because it is right given to the or conferred to the woman for a particular condition when she is unable to work because of that pregnancy. That was the attitude, and that was incorporated in law also, that married woman will be permitted to have maternity benefit and no one else. When this maternity benefit was granted to women, and the society was claiming that man and woman they are equal. Men started claiming that they should also be permitted to avail this benefit in the name of paternity benefit of the same duration as it is available to women. Point is that always we cannot treat women and men equal. They are equal where really they are equal. But difference between the two should also be recognized. There are two voices. The woman has got certain attributes which man is not having. Man has got certain attributes which woman is not. And that's why when in France for the first time feminism was used with reference to a man having character of a woman and woman having the character of man, that appears to be continuing still in present day. That the real grievance of the woman in the system, in the political system, social system, legal system, that is not being properly addressed. So feminism will be successful in its aims and objective only when the things are viewed by keeping the woman at the center or thinking the situation from the woman point of view, then only justice to the woman can be done. So long as the society is perpetuating and permitting the woman to various kinds of disabilities, the real justice to the woman cannot be done. And this is also an extreme on the part of radical feminists that if they refuse to procreate the children, then only they can become equal to that of man. That is also not a valid proposition. Point is that they are just like two sexes, but it is the society which has differentiated between these two sexes. Biologically, they are having two different sexes. One is born male and another is born female. But there is an element of gender, and this gender is a social construct. While sex is a biological determinant, sex is a social construct. And the society has given certain role to the woman and certain role to the man. Unless and until this traditional role is modified and revisited, the condition of the woman is not going to improve. Take simple example, which is in from our daily life, that if a male boy, if he is crying, then we usually say that you are a boy, you are not a girl, you should not do like this. Why we say so? As if crying is only in the domain of woman, not the man, not the male. So it is the correct, it is the attribution of role which is given to male and female, and society is constructing the gender. Now here one illustration taken from Rousseau that may be very pertinent, that Rousseau is supposed to be champion of liberty. But when it comes to the education, then he says that there should be two kinds of education. One education for man, that is male, and another for woman. So politics, mathematics, astrology, all these are for the man, for the male. And cooking, knitting, and taking care of children, all these are for females. So education to women should be given in such a way which can cater, which can further the domestic needs. And the education of the man should be of such a nature which enables a male to come out in the society to deal with the situation justly on the principle of reason. There should be analytical mind. So man,
Sir, the voice is not audible.
is anyone else is having the same problem? Mr. Shukla, Divyan Shukla, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Am I audible to you?
Sir, yes, you are audible. You are audible.
Sir, you're audible.
Sir, I think that there is problem at your end. It is because most of the students, they are listening me. So the problem is not at my end. Once there was problem that I have got checked, got corrected. So what was the point which I was discussing? Yeah, about the role, gender role. It is the society which has constructed the role for the man and woman. And it is in our daily practice that we say like this, that भाई तुम लड़की के तरह क्यों रो रहे हो, लड़के कहीं रोते हैं. This kind of training we give to the children. And in times to come, that male child picks up the impression as if the women are there only to cry, not the man. Okay, agreed for a moment. Then how the woman should be dressed up and how the man should be dressed up, that is also one of the serious concern. क्या पहने क्या न पहने. आज की तारीख में साहब बहुत अच्छे लोग भी भाषण दे रहे हैं कि the reason for sexual assault is the dressing sense of the girl or the woman, because they are putting on provocative kind of dresses, and therefore point is not like that. Point is whether what kind of attitude, mental attitude we are having against the other. If it is so, what they are saying, if that is correct, it means that the woman body is objectified. Objectification of woman body in any manner, that should not be appreciated. That is to be done away with. Woman should be viewed as a subject, not an object, not an instrument for procreation of children, but she is there to contribute to the society in her own way, and her perception should also be considered by the system. That is the real feminism. Otherwise, we will be in a conflict situation which is likely to perpetuate, nothing else. तो सबसे बड़ी समस्या ये है कि महिलाओं के साथ भी ये समस्या रही है कि the woman issue could not be perceived by the woman herself. There was a time when the Queen of England made an observation, and she said that politics is not the domain of the woman. They should prefer to remain inside the house. They should not come in the public domain. So, such kind of observation has been made by various politicians in India also, particularly when issue of reservation in the assemblies was debated, that 1/3 seat should be reserved for the women also. At that point of time, one very seasoned politician made an observation that politics is not for the women. Women should reside in the home and they should take care of children and the husband. That kind of approach, attitude, that is not going to do justice to the woman. Woman is as good as like any other sex of other animal kind. अगर कोई जो है एनिमल बाइसेक्सुअल है तो उसमें जो एक अप्रोच है, एटीट्यूडनल अप्रोच, वो डिफरेंट नहीं है. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि पुरुष और महिला, इन दोनों को हम लोग एक अलग अलग कैटेगरी के रूप में देखते हैं. सो दिस कैटेगराइजेशन इटसेल्फ is not proper. There should be uniformity that it is Homo sapiens, be it male or female. The last point which I would like to share with you in this respect is that when a real issue comes before the court, then, and if the court is presided by a male, having no sensitivity towards female issues, his male mind will be reflected in his judgment. Therefore, you will find that recently some of the provisions have been made that if it is a case pertaining to women, the investigating officer should be a woman. The judge should preferably be a woman. The proceeding in camera should be held. It should not be in public gaze. So why it has been done? Just with a view to protect the interest of the woman and keeping in view that women may be hesitant in speaking out in public. And therefore, such special steps have been taken in recent past with a view to improve the condition of women. So when we talk about the study of anything from the feminist point of view, it means that that study keeps the woman at the center and make an inquiry why the position of the woman is subordinate to the system, disadvantageous to her. And if we can remove that subordinate position, that disadvantageous position of women, that may be a real study. So it is inquiry from the perspective of woman made by either a man or woman herself. ये नहीं है कि फेमिनिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव के लिए केवल महिला ही उसको समझ सकती है, नहीं. As I told you that most of the time operation of woman is done by the woman than the man. So even there may be body of a woman, but her mind is male because of her training, as happened in the case of Queen of England. That body was of woman, but mind was of female. So patriarchy and masculinity in law, that is to be done away with. That is the message of feminism. If you have any query, you are most welcome. Otherwise, thank you very much for giving me patient hearing on all 4 days, almost for 5.5 hours to 6 hours, not 6 hours, 5.5 hours. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.